Hey everyone, welcome back to my build. Over these last few weeks I've been working on the chassis. I've been doing the center console area, and this weekend I started working on the engine compartment, and let's get down to it. Actually, before I get into it, I've been annoying one of my little bird neighbors. I got a little family of birds living up here. I don't know if you can see them or not. Let's see if I can get her around from this side. Got a little family of birds living in here, and yeah, I've been annoying them every time I open the garage or cut metal or anything. So anyway, let's get back down to the build. So as I mentioned, I've been working on the center console. I took some of the ideas that I have here from the Neric chassis, and then I modified them to fit the Aventador. I have a little bit of a flare out in the back there, and it's really hard to see, but there is, on this back tube right here, it actually angles outwards and upwards a little. And then I just have a little cross bracing in here, and that's similar to what's in the Neric chassis. And then secondly, I've been working on the rear section. So this will, see if I can get a better angle of it. So this will be the rear engine compartment, and then I still have one of the big tubes hanging around in here to keep the chassis straight. But in this area here, there'll be a one of the fuel tanks, and then the other fuel tank will be on this side. And kind of like the original, I'll be having these pieces here, which will be bracketed on, so that way I can unbolt those to help put the fuel tank in, because there'll be a cross tube down at the bottom that goes between the two tanks. Let's see, and then the rear section is going to be completely open like it is on the original. That tube is just there to keep the center line of the car, so I can measure. That'll be coming off. That's just clamped down for the moment. Excuse me. But yeah, this is more designed like the original one. I may put a couple of cross braces in here, some smaller tube. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need it or not. I'll have to see how stable it is. There will be one more tube that's coming down across, and then it'll tie into this, like the original one. And then I do have an X brace that'll go across on the top. That'll also be more like the original one. So in the console itself, you can see in this triangular area here, this whole bottom section will be sheet metaled, and then there'll be basically a tunnel from the front of the back, which I can run my brake lines and power steering lines and all that stuff through the middle of the console. I did put in some bracing for the seats. Again, this long bar here is just to keep the chassis straight, so I can clamp it down and everything. But these two bars right here on both sides, I just spot welded in a couple spots, because I'm not sure exactly what I'm using for seats and where I need the bracing to be, so I can cut those back out and move them front or back as needed. The triangulation in the front is all welded in. There'll be obviously some sheet metal coming up and around here. I'm not gonna do sheet metal in the engine compartment. And then also there'll be some additional bracing right here, small tube bracing, just for the rocker itself, because the rocker hangs over this bar here. It's on this side, just because of the way the Lamborghini is done. And then once I get all that done, I can put the roof back on, and then I got some 1.5 inch tubing, diameter tubing, that I'll try and bend to make a roll cage. That's going to be fun because I've never done that before. So one of the areas I still have to fix is this upper section from here up going across. When I welded those in, it actually pulled forward about an inch. So what I'll have to do is cut the welds and then just lean that whole thing back. I'll brace it a little better this time before I actually weld it up. See if I can get that straight. So anyway, I have a question for you guys. Do you think I should put in maybe a 3/4 inch or a 1 inch square tubing to tie these together? I do have this tie, which should keep everything from moving forward and back. And that is heavy gauge 120 wall, 1.5 square tubing. So, and then I do have some 1.5 square tubing here as well. But let me know if you guys think I should put in either some bracing going down or some bracing going up, just to kind of keep everything from shifting, although I don't think it will because of this one. And then again, this will be tied to the roof and this will be bolted on, so it's removable like the original one. But yeah, it's fun actually trying to get this aligned when there's nothing to align it to. So yeah, that took a little bit of work. So right now the plan is for next weekend to build the second half, the passenger side of the rear section. And then with that, I can get that all lined up. If you're looking down here, I have this cross brace right here. There'll be another one that's more up here. I'm gonna spot weld those in as well. The reason I'm only spot welding them is because I'm not sure exactly how the engine and train is gonna fit. So I might need to move those forward or back just a little bit to make sure that the engine and tranny can sit as low as possible. So as far as tying the two sides together, there is right here in the back side is a bolt hole here. I use some rivet nuts on those once I get them. There'll be a bar that goes across and ties the two together here, and then there's two 45-degree angled struts that will come down and tie the rear section on. The section below this is all for the muffler, the big section there for the muffler. And then right here, there'll be a plate that I make. And what that'll do is there'll be a plate on either side, and then there'll be an angled brace out of some 2x3 material. And what that angled brace will do is two things. It'll tie the left and right sides together, and it also gives me a mounting point for the X brace. If you've seen the original, it X's, and then in the middle there is a tie bar between them, and that tie bar has a couple of bolts that will bolt down to this X frame. Not the X frame, excuse me. The cross member in the middle. So little by little, I'm getting through this. Once I get the other half done, then what I'm going to do is put the roof on, put the rear quarters on, get the body aligned, so I can actually start putting in the brackets for the Corvette suspension. I am doing brackets for the upper control arms and the lower control arms versus using the Corvette cradle. I picked up a set of brackets that Joel had made for one of his car projects when he was using the Corvette suspension. He was nice enough to give those to me. I'll show you them when I get to that point. Just a nice little set of brackets. And that's basically the project as it is right now. If you'd like to follow along, subscribe, and I hope to update. I'm trying to do an update every weekend, but that doesn't always happen, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you. Bye.